Let's get it started on a Monday morning. Head coach Mike McCarthy, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Morning, Coach. I know it's Wednesday in your life. How was the holiday weekend as it was?
It was a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for us, but it was a good weekend. We got a lot of work done. I think our players have done an excellent job of adjusting to the protocols that are in place with the virtual meetings and so forth. So, but feel good about it. The start that we have, but you got to keep your football team on a routine.
Now, you brought up the protocols, and certainly it seems to be biting at the wrong time. Now, we do expect Amari Cooper back at practice today.
Yes, the anticipation is Amari will be back in the building today. He'll have the virtual meetings this morning, but he'll be in for the practice segment.
How did the test go yesterday? 100%.
Yes, 100% yesterday, and hopefully get the same done today.
Coach, I know that's, this is now modern NFL life. This is, heck, how many years have we been going through this now, it feels like. But, man, what a difficult time to go through it. And I wonder, as you have to fall into these Zoom protocols, is there some benefit maybe to just kind of getting away from everybody, having a meeting at home, let everybody kind of decompress a bit? Or is this the worst case at the worst time?
I think the fact that we had the experience of it last year, and I think that even the new players coming from college, have had to go through Zoom experience, not even if it was at their college, but, going through the draft process and everything. So, frankly, I was very impressed with the meetings. I thought our coaches did an outstanding job in the presentation. And, the players are, it's just like anything. They're accustomed to it. They're very technical and savvy with it. So, when they came in and the practice yesterday, they were on top of their work. So, at the end of the day, it's about, getting it done right. And, so hopefully it'll serve as a good break.
As you come into this strange time of the season, that is just being a Dallas Cowboy and a Dallas Cowboy fan, these games rolling together. I imagine looking forward to Friday. It's almost like a mini bye if you can finally get there. Coach, when I was in 8th grade, the last time I played organized football, my head coach would send in his plays by sending the guards in. He rotated guards in to bring the plays in. I haven't seen offensive lines shuffled like that. What was the thought process? And I know you got a lot of guys and only really 5 positions to play, but talk about the decision with the offensive line to start the game and what we can expect to see Thursday. Is it the return to what we saw, I guess, not since game 1 with Lael at right and Tyron at left?
Well, I mean, we had a 5 lineman, obviously starting lineman set, and wanted to give LC and Connor Williams a series, to keep them involved. Plus, there's other packages they were involved. So it's really just about keeping them utilized. But especially with the overtime game and the number of reps the other 5 guys played. So there's plenty of opportunities for them to establish themselves as a group. But it's just really utilizing all 7 of those guys the best we can.
Would you do it again? Would you do it that way? About I know how big you are on continuity. Would you do that again?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with the outcome of the game. If that's what you're.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just curious. One of the things about I know the offensive line more than any other position, and I think in any sport, relies so much on the guys beside them and the ballet and that movement that is sometimes moving guys around in the easiest thing. And we know the running game's been suffering, and Zeke seems a little battered. I was just curious if that was something that was a necessity because you had a lot of guys that are finally getting healthy and you can finally play against. And will we see that again on Thursday, or will we go back to what we haven't seen, I guess, since week 1, Lael at right and Tyron at left?
Well, I think the most important thing is, we just did it for the 1 series.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. I was just curious, Coach. I like I know how you are about competition during the week, and that I thought that was a good thing, quite frankly, to have enough guys that where you can actually rotate through. But I also know how difficult it is to mesh.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, they like I said earlier, we rotated on 1 series. They happened to be 3 plays to keep those guys involved. Yeah. They're involved in other packages. So the starting 5 played, all the snaps except 3. So I mean, that's the most important thing we got to focus on is just getting back to getting the run blocking unit established, right. Playing with cohesion, and same thing in the pass protection part of it. So.
Will that cohesion have a role in whether Zeke plays on Thursday?
It'd be nice if if we can get those guys to line up week in and week out and establish that. But you go through these situations with COVID and injuries. This is a product of the challenges of an NFL season.
Absolutely tough, and with all the protocols involved too. Will the cohesion have a role in whether Zeke plays on Sunday? I know that or on Thursday. I know that sounds kind of an odd question to ask of a warrior like Zeke, but sometimes you just have to go hide a helmet.
Well, I think like anything, you got to remember that these guys, especially Zeke, the players have been here a long time. They're a very close relationship with the medical staff. So I mean, if he's healthy, this is a health decision that you make on all your players every week. So I mean, if Zeke's fitted to be healthy, then he'll play, and and then we'll look at the game plan and so forth. So I thought he looked, we didn't do anything full speed yesterday. We had a jog through practice, so we'll see how he looks today.
Coach Mike McCarthy joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. Don't adjust your calendar nor your clock. Yes, it's Monday, but it's Wednesday in Coach's World, and we had a nice little holiday break. Coach, with the defense kind of suffering last, and we see what Micah Parsons has been capable of over the last, the entire season. Talk about, the health, and you wait for the cavalry to keep riding over the hill. Is the cavalry near? Are we going to see Gregory and D-Law anytime soon, or is it still going to be patchwork until we can get completely healthy?
Well, we're D-Law was part of the practice yesterday, so we'll see how he does today, and then we'll make a decision on his availability for Thursday. Randy's getting better, so had a really good workout yesterday. Neville, we started his 3-week clock yesterday, so it's as these guys get ready, once again, it's a medical decision once they're cleared, and we feel like they're they've had enough fundamental work that they're cohesion's where it needs to be. We'll get them back in there. That's the plan.
What's your comfortability with your kicker?
I mean, I'm confident in Greg Zuerlein. It's I think when you look at his production, particularly inside of 2 minutes, I mean, he's exactly what you're looking for. He's been 8 for 8 and 8 inside of 2 minutes the last 2 years. I'm aware of the PAT misses, but his misses on his field goal attempts, the majority have been above 50 yards. So, but hey, we gotta be better there, and no one works out more than Greg in the battery there. But I have great confidence in Greg Zuerlein.
Coach Mike McCarthy joining us for his regular on here on San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Have you ever seen a DB get called 4 times for DPI in a game? Ever before Thursday?
No, I haven't.
And we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to cost you any money. That was one of the more ridiculous things I've ever seen. But when you do know, obviously you scout refs. I mean, that's not uncommon. You knew what was coming, but when you can't do anything about it, I don't know what you do in a situation like that when you've got a player. Do you just pat him on the butt and say, hey, man, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's them. Just go out and play another game. And how do you regulate aggressiveness without affecting the play of the player? It's one of those witchcraft of head coaches that I quite frankly don't understand. How do you handle it?
Well, I think it's like anything in this game. There's an evaluation process. So you coach the penalties. Frankly, we put them in 3 different categories. The penalties in pre-snap are unaccepted. That's just discipline. The pre-snap penalties I'm talking about. But then you have the post-snap penalties, and there's combative penalties, and then there's discipline penalties. So, the ones that are lack of discipline, from the mental capacity, you got to eliminate those. But the combative ones are the ones you got to continue to work through, because those are the ones that usually fall in this area where it's 2 players competing and battling, and you're pushing the edge, being aggressive, but you're just gonna play with a little better technique. So that's really the category we put those in. We study them, we review them, and we just continue to work at it.
Mike McCarthy joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. Saints on Thursday, they're going through their own particular issues. How do you scout a team like Peyton's when you're dealing with the quarterback issues that they're dealing with?
Well, I mean, it's a challenge. You just got to stay on top of all their concepts, which, they're vast in that, and the different schemes and plays that they do to try to keep you off balance. So you got to pay attention, particularly to the extra tackle sets, the loaded sets, and because it's a power run game, and Tyson Hills is definitely a component you got to be on top of. So I mean, it's all part of the challenge, and it's just part of this COVID injury phase that you go through when you line up each and every week. So we just got to be on top of our P's and Q's.
I'm curious, Coach, who's playing Taysom on your practice squad?
Ben DiNucci. He's Ben's athletic, obviously not as strong, but just for the type of practice we're having, he's a good fit.
Well, Coach, this is typical of Dallas Cowboys, this stretch here, and we know the history. When the Cowboys do well, playoffs are imminent. When they don't, they don't. Get an opportunity to kind of right the ship, Coach. As you look forward to this little break, I hope you had an opportunity to celebrate Thanksgiving. What was that, Friday? I guess you had a chance. I guess that was Sunday night in your life?
Yes, had a little time there Friday to have a family dinner, but it was great to see everybody.
What was the go-to? We didn't get a chance to talk last week. Your turkey, ham. What's the go-to?
Yeah, I'm traditional, just the turkey and stuffing, potatoes. So standard Thanksgiving dinner.
Hey, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time today. Good luck. We bid you good health and a good week of practice, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Coach Mike McCarthy joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star for his regular